And going through the Bible book by book and chapter by chapter, we're in Exodus chapter 25. And in this chapter, we're going to see the tabernacle being constructed and some of the different pieces of furniture that go in the tabernacle. It's interesting. It starts off in Exodus chapter 25. It reads, "The Lord spoke to Moses, 'Tell the Israelites to make an offering for me. You are to take my offering from everyone who is willing to give.'" So this tabernacle, this place where God is going to meet Israel, the furniture that is going to be built where God is going to meet Israel and take their sins away, isn't taken out of any kind of mandated or compulsory giving. It's a free will offering. People who are willing to give, people who want to give to the construction of this tabernacle, that is where the gift comes from. And the same is true with our life. There is not a compulsory offering. There's not something that you have to give to God. There's lots of things that you should be willing to give to God. And as we give ourselves to God, He makes His dwelling with us. That's what He says here in this chapter. They are to make a sanctuary for me so that I may dwell among them. That is chapter 25 and verse 8. You must make it according to all that I show you, the pattern of the tabernacle as well as the pattern of its furnishings. God's desire is to dwell with us. We're told that He dwells in our hearts through faith. Well, when we build our lives according to that pattern, we become His temple. We become His sanctuary or His tabernacle, just like was taking place here. One of the pieces of furniture that's built in the tabernacle is the ark, and we're going to see that in verses 10 down through verses 23 or 22. It's going to be talking about the ark. The cool thing about the ark, it's a box of wood. The word ark just means box. It's laid over with gold. It's made out of acacia wood. It's going to be constructed with poles that go on either side so they can pick it up and carry it without touching the ark. It's going to be a forbidden piece of furniture. Nobody touches the ark except once a year. The high priest will go in with blood on his thumb and rub it on the side of the mercy seat where God is going to meet Israel. It talks about the faces of the cherubim being here, and in verse 22 it says, "I will meet with you there above the mercy seat between the two cherubim that are over the ark of the testimony." It's kind of cool that this is the place where God meets Israel. In the New Testament, Jesus Christ is our mercy seat. Jesus is the place where God meets us. And just like on the Day of Atonement, God would meet the children of Israel at this particular place. When we have our sins atoned, God meets us through Jesus Christ. We have to clothe ourselves with Christ in baptism. And that's the place where all these things come together. There is the person who makes forgiveness possible, and that is in Jesus. Then there's this table that's going to be built, and it's going to go outside the most holy place in the holy place. It's going to be a table that's about 3 feet long, and it's going to be covered with gold. And this is the place where the showbread is going to go. Later, David is going to come and he's going to eat the showbread. And Jesus talks about this in the gospel accounts. So Jesus came and ate the showbread. It was bread that always had to be before the Lord. And there's going to be a lampstand in here. It's going to have be hammered out of pure gold. It's going to have 6 branches that extends from the sides. This is the classic menorah with the 7 different candles that are in it, the one central stand and the 6 branches. If you ever see any Hanukkah decorations, that's the menorah that we're talking about. And it's inside this holy place. In the New Testament, these different pieces of furniture are going to take on spiritual significance. They're going to have different things, especially in the book of Revelation. We can see that there's spiritual messages, spiritual images that are contained in these different pieces of furniture. And so it's important as we go throughout the Old Testament that we see what exactly was in the temple and how were these things used, because that's going to be important when we begin to try and understand the spiritual aspects of these things. And so as we're going through the Bible, chapter by chapter, and book by book, this is Exodus chapter 25.